That's gonna be your thing. I deem that unworthy.
I didn't get that hair. It is from my mustache.
You know how to make that so that doesn't happen?
Yeah, how? You know a trick?
You just shave off that fucking mustache.
I don't know that. You've been wanting to say that every episode. We haven't even started drinking yet today.
There we go.
Yes, Andy, Vargo, and I will do anything for attention.
Yes, we will.
Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Well, any morning that I wake up to seeing you straight out of bed is a good morning. How are you?
We're good. We're rocking the bedhead today. And I was thinking about all of the people that watch us, our fans and friends. And I wanted to make sure that they get the full Cheri and Andy experience. Like and subscribe and follow us so they don't miss anything.
Yeah, and you know what else would be so super awesome for us and for your other friends out there? Be if people would share it so that everyone else has the chance to experience this in all its glory and that, or whichever side you're on. Welcome to another episode of Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy. I'm Andy Vargo, and this is my bestie,
Cheri Hardman.
How are you today, Cheri?
I am better than I look. I took it, like I was telling you before we were actually recording, I got a late show tonight. So when I came home from work, I had to decide, am I going to take a nap or am I going to look pretty for Scrutiny? And I chose the nap. It was divine.
I think that's fair. I probably would have made the same choice because you got to plan for later.
Right. And I know myself enough to know that if it's a 9 o'clock show, I'm not going to be going on stage till almost 10.
Yeah. And also part of Scrutiny is giving people a chance to see the behind the scenes. And these are our close, best, intimate friends and fans. And they see all sorts of stuff with us. So.
Yeah. And if they would like to see me looking pretty, maybe they should go to the Upper Left Comedy Festival on Capitol Hill. I, in particular, will be at the Northwest Film Forum in a show called Rainier Riots at 9 p.m. tonight. So
nice. That's one of what, 3 performances that you have for this film festival?
So this is the first year of this festival. First year of this comedy festival. It's pretty exciting, and I have the show tonight, and then Saturday night I have 2 shows, both at Northwest Film Forum. One Jackie Cation and Friends, and one called Is This Normal or something? I don't know. Sounds like there's a little theme to it, so I can't wait to see. But I've always wanted to work with Jackie and never gotten the opportunity. So she was really big during Zoom. She was one of the few headliners that was doing Zoom comfortably.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm excited about that.
That is exciting. You have a lot going on. I know we always start out the show saying what we have coming up, and obviously that's like this weekend. Do you have anything else you want to share about what you have coming up before we?
Well, next weekend I'll be doing private shows, so I don't need to share those. And just a reminder, like in case anybody remembers, we're not doing Scrutiny next week, but you need to remember that the next week after that is a Happy Birthday Cheri
special.
So you're in charge of that. And the 23rd, Unmentionables at Odd Otter.
Yes.
You're like, you don't remember that conversation?
No, I remember that conversation.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
trying to remember what I thought I was going to do for it, because I know I've had some ideas.
I think you're going to have some people on, maybe some surprises.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember. I know
I remember.
I have some memories that I'm going to tap into, and no, I got some ideas. It's going to be a fun show.
What's going on with you?
I got booked for another private gig coming up here in a couple weeks. So that's on the motivational speaking side. That's been really growing. And I have to say, it was super cool because it was the easiest gig to book, which is just what we all want, right? Where someone emailed me and said, hey, someone saw you speak at their event in January and they recommended that we, have you come
Mhm.
to our group. And so, they asked me about
Word
it.
of mouth is the best.
And it was super quick and easy, and I'm looking forward to it. So it's just,
Cool.
you have to put in enough time and do enough things to get to the point where enough people have seen you that starts happening.
Mhm.
But it is reassuring to see it happening. So that was fun. And then I've got, I'm still doing the school workshop about change. And I tell you, them kids today, they gave me a run for my money. Working with middle schoolers, it's different because I'm there because I want to give them value and be helpful. So the last thing I want to do is be like, you're here to listen to what I brought to talk to today. And some of the best conversations we have are when things go a little bit off topic, and all of a sudden it's like, well, let's explore that, because obviously that's what's on your mind. And the cool thing is, I can tell when they're really interested or learning because the room is very quiet and they're like soaking in the words. And then I can tell when it's like, oh gosh, now we get a little restless, and that's normal for that age.
Mhm. Right.
I don't take it personal. It's a really good learning experience for me to learn that type of environment, because it's not even like you're doing a middle school assembly. You're talking kind of intimately with 20 kids, 25 kids,
Mhm.
about topics that aren't always easy. So it's a whole different level than saying, hey, I'm here to entertain you at a pep rally,
Right.
and then we're going to go our other way. So
Right.
I'm really grateful for that opportunity. So yeah, I think outside of that, I have some shows coming up later in June. I got like 5 things booked in June, and then I got some stuff July, and I got called for something for September. So things are like starting to pile up. It's exciting.
Cool.
So
Oh yeah, we got to roast each other here.
I know we got to sit down and like
Yeah.
I've been talking that show up. I've been telling lots of people. I know a few people that are going to be there, that said they're going to be there. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, we got to get to writing.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you want to talk about today, Cheri?
I came empty-handed today. I was just going to go wherever the conversation went.
Okay.
So I got nothing, although I will say that I have been watching some reality TV again. I've been watching 90 Day Fiance before the 90. Am I watching before the 90 days? Or am I watching the just regular one? I don't even know. But it's Pillow Talk. So they have people that used to be on the show that are with, their partner that they met through the show or whatever. And then they're all sitting in their own homes watching and commenting on the show. And I really like that show. I always feel really good when it's over. Like after an episode is over, it feels like somehow like a sense of community.
Okay.
Because you kind of got your favorites, and they're, it's like your friends, those that you're closer to than others. It's just fun. It really is.
Yeah.
And because you always start the story out thinking, oh, there's no way this is going to work. They're just, using them for a green. Yeah, they're just using them for a green card. But,
sometimes
there's all these successful relationships that came out of that show. So
wow.
Not necessarily the case. They're all sitting there right there with you watching it. So it's kind of fun. And then last night, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills started up. And one of them had a home invasion.
Oh no.
And so she was talking about that and how they held a gun to her head and said, just, well, the other one was just saying, just shoot her. And, you know, her kids were there and her husband was out of town. And it was really to think what that must have felt like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not only to have, like, I've had people break into my house before and take stuff. And I remember coming home one time and looking and like, why is my TV missing? Like, is there like a
Yeah.
reason why it should be? Like, is there a logical explanation? You know, or I've had my
Right.
car stolen, and you have this moment of thinking like, am I missing something? Did I forget
Did
something?
I
But
not
then,
park it where I thought?
yeah,
Yeah.
but then you realize like, oh my God, now somebody's come into my space and taken my, it's really not so much about your stuff, but that they came, you know, kind of
Yeah.
go through my underwear drawer, and it's a creepy feeling.
Yeah, because they were in a space that you feel safe and sacred and private
Mm-hmm.
in,
Mm-hmm.
and even on a much less invasive scale, or but like if anyone's ever been in your home, like someone brought company over when you weren't expecting company, you just had a mess out, or like if you've had like a landlord or leasing agent or someone come through if your house was for sale and when they weren't supposed to be there. It's like this was like in my space when this was unapproved time,
Right.
and even more so when someone actually broke in, where you just like, it just does. Yeah, you're right, creepy.
Yeah, so imagine sleeping and hearing a noise, thinking it's your kids, and getting up and there's two men with guns. I mean, yeah,
scary.
so that was just really, it really made me think like, ooh, how that must have felt for her and, you know, everyone that kind of stuff happens to. But, you know, crime is everywhere. So,
It is, and
you know, it
unfortunate.
takes those moments to really stop and appreciate. Like when her husband came home, I mean, you could just tell like how they just clung to each other. It made them really appreciate their family, you know, even more. So there was that. So I've been watching that, and that's kind of, and the other thing that nobody else is talking about is there's a movie on Hulu right now. It's a show, I guess, 5 parts called Candy.
Okay.
And, you know, usually I like to binge watch my stuff, but they're putting out 1 episode per day.
Oh, so you have to.
So I have to wait until.
You either have to, yeah. Once you start it, you got to wait, or you just
Tomorrow
gotta
for the
wait to
next
start
one.
until.
But it's about a woman. I mean, I guess you can see this in the trailer. A woman that kills another woman in a community thing,
Okay.
and so it's. I've got 1 episode to go, but it's really it's good, and I'm actually, you know how you keep hearing about shows. I haven't heard anyone talking about this one, so I'm gonna talk about it first. Candy, go watch it on Hulu.
All right.
All right.
Interesting. Well, I gotta say, just a little brag here. Just a little excited to share. You can see I got my new outfit going on.
Yes.
I ordered myself some polo shirts because I want to rep the brand, but I want to dress a little nicer than just wearing a t-shirt all the time. And so I ordered myself a couple red and a couple blue polo shirts, and then I got hats. I'm going to sell the blue hats. I also got a red hat just for me to wear, so that I could have, my.
So the polo shirts just for you, not for sale?
I just got them for me. I mean, down the road I could sell them, but I have to be like, I can always special order stuff if somebody wants stuff. One of the things I've been really cognizant of trying to be aware of is that, my goal is not to be a merchandise company. Like, I'm happy to sell stuff that's really cool, and I love seeing the brand out there. And I would, down the road, if I have a staff and there's a big call for it, sure, I'd love to have all sorts of merch that says "Own Your Awkward." However, for me, like, as far as focus and dollars and inventory, if I'm going to invest money, it's not going to be in having every size and color potential of shirts. But I did get just blue hats, and then and I got some really cool Own Your Awkward bracelets. I got blue.
I really like those. It's like I was telling you earlier when you showed them to me. The Own Your Awkward really shows up.
Yeah, I was really happy.
Those are nice and big, and
because I wasn't, you never know when you order stuff how it's going to come out looking. And then the other thing that I just got are new Own Your Awkward stickers.
Oh, we need one for my scooter.
Oh, I've got one for your scooter. So my as I've done some of these markets, I've noticed I need some things that I like, the stickers that I can give away or people can donate if they want to, if they just want to do a little thing. But when I do events, it's like I need something that's people have to remember me by, you know. And I have some things when I do a speaking event that little cards they can fill out and take, but I don't always have events where I have that explanation and the time to say, here's the challenge for you. If I'm just meeting somebody on the street and they say, oh my God, Own Your Awkward, I love your shirt. I'm like, have a sticker.
Mm-hmm.
And makes people happy. So.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting when you get something new in like that. It's like.
Yeah, and I think I might have told you this story yesterday, but I had ordered, they only had the blue hats in, they only had blue. They didn't have red available in the style hat I was ordering. And merch, apparel stuff is really hard to get still. There's a lot of shutdown and a lot of shortages with supply chain and still, you know, fallout from COVID and all that kind of stuff going on. So you got to go find out what's even available and then figure out what you can order within there. So it's like I looked at like 4 different kinds of hats, and like red was available in one, but blue was available in another and all that stuff. And then so inventory wise, I just wanted to get the one color. But then I went back yesterday because I was like, oh, I meant to at least just order one red hat, even if it's a different style, just for me to wear, because I need, you know, that. And she said, oh, I think she's almost done making your order. I was like, oh, wow. So I bought one of the hats they had in the showroom, and they just stitched it on it yesterday. And so today I picked up the order. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So
do you want to shout them out?
Yeah, it's a custom print shop down on Washington, 54th and Washington. They do all my custom stuff. So they do my shirt, my apparel, my stitch stuff, and my t-shirts. So they've done a really good job. And it's a small business. They've been around for, I don't know, 40 or 50. They've been around a long time. But it's one of those that, you know, when a small business has been successful enough that they've been around a long time, sometimes people stop giving them like the credit for being a small business. It's like, no, they're still a small operation and still are an independent place. So just because they're not
good for them.
Yeah,
good for them, good for you. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it's fun. So anyway, that's my thing. The thing that I've had to really kind of pay attention to right now in what I have going on is that I have different opportunities for different, I don't want to say what kind of levels or formalities of events, where a polo shirt might be appropriate for one, a t-shirt might be okay for something, but others I might need to dress, you know, in a button down or whatever. And so but I'm trying to make sure that I have a branding look that carries over between all 3 styles, so that when you look at it, it doesn't go, oh, well, he's wearing, you know, red and blue t-shirts, and then all of a sudden, but if it's a semi, you know, casual thing, all of a sudden he doesn't have anything that matches that, or, you know, so that I'm staying on brand. So it's been fun.
Cool. Tommy Johnson said, surprise, Andy, you're in charge, but I don't know what that was.
He's talking about your birthday.
Oh, got it.
Or let me know what I'm in charge of and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm sure he's talking about your birthday.
Got it.
What I'm surprised by is how soon that is. I forgot that that's like 2 weeks away.
Well, I know, I thought so, the same thing, but I thought of it when you told me you couldn't do this next week, and I'm like, oh, the next one is the birthday one. So
yeah, so
yeah.
And that's the thing, is when we miss one, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that puts it right there. So I am thankful for the reminder.
Good. All right, you said you wanted to talk about relationships, your part in relationships, or?
Yeah, something came up in a conversation earlier today, and it just kind of went down a rabbit hole, and I just thought it was kind of worthy of discussion.
Cool.
Because it was kind of one of those things of like, you know, and this is just my observation, and I had to be a little self-reflective of, and for me, it was post-relationship, really. but that, when we're in a relationship with people, someone was asking me about how do you get along with people when they are, just annoying you and driving you crazy and all this stuff. And so I guess the conversation, the way we kind of took it was the whole idea that, whatever your relationship is with somebody, and whether that's a sibling, a parent, child, a friend, or, like a romantic partner, however that, this is kind of rings true with any relationship, in that people are going to do things that drive you crazy, and that could be not right of them to do, especially if they're doing it on purpose, right? That could be that they're just being a pain in the butt, just to be a pain in the butt. But also, that doesn't give you the right to react a certain way, or even if it gives you the right, it doesn't help the situation. And so, so much of it is how you react to it, right? And if you are, let's say someone's, pushing your buttons over and over again and just trying to get you to react, well, if you keep reacting, then they're going to keep doing it. And so one of the things is like, okay, well, is this someone I need to spend as little time with as possible because I know that's what they're going to do with me? So do I need to distance myself, or do I just need to ignore what they're doing and maybe do some breathing exercises just to calm myself and focus, because I know that the less I react, they're going to keep pushing and pushing, but pretty soon they'll stop. But really kind of being introspective on like, what am I bringing to the relationship? Because I know when I was married and not in a good relationship, I wasn't treated well, but I also did not, I allowed a lot of that. And I didn't bring my best self to the relationship either, because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin and stuff. So it was kind of one of those where it's like, okay, well, if I say, yeah, you can treat me this way, but I don't bring a better solution, then it's just going to stay that way. And I'm just as much to blame, or you can argue back and forth with the chicken and the egg over who started it, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
That's what's on my mind. I don't know. You got so much good relationship advice too over the years that I just thought I'd put that out there, see what you add to it.
Well, I find like with as far as like people doing stuff to bug you or that bugs you, that I have have a real sensitivity to noises.
Mm-hmm.
And like people eating especially, or just anything like that. So sometimes my house gets me to the point where I'm ready to scream at everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just living their lives. They're not trying to bother me.
Right.
But
Just by
I'm
being
like,
there and making the noise.
but I'm like literally feeling like I want to kill them, like I'm so agitated by it. And so I
Yeah.
find myself snapping at people. And then I'm like, well, it's nobody's fault that this is happening.
Right.
It's the thing that's happening. So I guess I need to get better about saying, listen, I'm in, it's not really even a mood, but today for some reason, the input from sound is really getting on my nerves, and and I need some space.
Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it, to where it's like, this is what I need right now.
Because I will try to like remove myself, but then people will come to check on me, and then I'm like,
no,
Dave will come to look at me, and I'm like, oh my God, leave me alone,
Yeah, you're like, I came over here to get away from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
But, letting people know where you are and what's bothering you seems like a really simple thing to do, but often we think people should be able to read our minds.
No, that's fair. Yeah, and especially I think that's why we snap the most at people that we're closest to, because we have the highest expectation of them, because they do know us the best. And so then, but then we forget that we still need to communicate, because they don't know what's on our mind, or they don't know where we're at in that moment.
Right.
Like,
and even maybe they should know if they really stopped and thought about it, but we're not all perfect.
Yeah, because we also don't know what's going on in their day that's got them not thinking about us every single
Yeah,
step
or
of the way.
maybe they had such a bad day that they really feel the need to connect with you when you're in the kind of mood where you need to get away from them. So, you
Right.
know, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like sometimes just the opposite feelings could be at play where it's like, well, they're in this zone and I'm in this zone, and those are just contradictory right now.
Right. It happens. It does. And it's like right now we've at our house, Noah and one of his friends are spending a lot of time here, like over 50% of the time here.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah.
have a small house and there's 5 adults in it. So the chances of somebody getting on your nerves might be
Yeah,
good.
it's a little high.
So I'm not saying they're getting on my nerves, but I just, like oftentimes, sometimes feeling like you don't have a place to go
Yeah, where you can just,
to just be by yourself or to just,
it's interesting because I live alone. So as soon as I walk in the door, I'm by myself. So it's kind of that opposite of like,
sounds so heavenly.
and sometimes it's like, I know sometimes it's great. And I really, I don't sit at home and feel lonely all the time.
Mhm.
Sometimes I wish there were ways to go be around people without it having to be, well, I'm going to go to a bar and talk to strangers, or to that people that aren't necessarily strangers, but not really, like I can have decent conversations, but it's not like, oh, I know I'm going to have a conversation with you or with somebody else. Like
Mhm.
sometimes you want that closeness with someone that you care more about. But yeah, I get what you mean.
But it's funny though, when I go to Vegas, if I'm by myself, like I really enjoy the solitude, but after a while, I do get lonely.
Yeah, you start to miss. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it works both ways. I guess you just
Well, and that's why a lot of people have pets that they can have that companionship with.
yeah, because they're annoying in a different sort of a way.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
and one thing I would say too on the relationship front is that a lot of people don't really seem to put the right value on relationships that are outside of a significant other, where you look at people, it's like, every interaction you have with people as far as maintaining a relationship is practice for having a good relationship at any level. So if you want to have a best friend, you have to be really good at managing how you're interacting with your acquaintances, and then maybe one of them will become a best friend. And if if you want to move up the work ladder, or if you want to have a partner and you don't have a partner, when I meet people and they don't have any healthy relationships in their life, even from a friendship standpoint, it's kind of a red flag to me that there's probably something that's going to go awry at some point, and there's going to be an issue about who to blame.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're not trying to tell me anything, are you?
I'm not talking to you after this episode.
Yeah, no, I know that. It's kind of like like I always say, the person who's always complaining about, oh, I don't want any more drama in my life. They're probably the ones that are full of drama because, yeah, if you're attracting it, there's a reason. So,
Yeah, exactly. And you see it. It's funny because if you step back and just watch, without feeding the fire, you just kind of watch what's happening, watch who's continuing the conversation, who's bringing things up again even after it settles down, and those are the people that are stirring the pot.
right,
And that's what's creating the drama. And like you said, they're usually the ones that are, oh, I don't want this drama, but it's like, but they're trying to solve things or get to a resolution. It's like, well, what you need to do is let it go, stay out of
right,
everyone's business, and move on.
right. Mind your own damn business. And yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, and there's things where it's like, oh, I'm curious, but it's like, well, but that's a boundary for me to go, well, I'm not going to go call somebody up and ask her. I'm not going to keep this going on, because sure, it'd be nice to know what's happening or what's going on or what happened at that thing. But I don't want to be that guy that's just,
Right.
you know,
I mean, unless you're talking to your bestie, then you can bring
well,
it up.
then, yeah, with you, it's like, hey, Cheri, psst, did you hear?
It's so funny because you'll have, there was a conversation in the car when some of us went to Spokane. There was So
Oh,
comics went to Spokane. And there was one topic of conversation that kind of came up a couple times. Just a joke about somebody that we all knew in common. But every time there's an opportunity to mention that, there's one comedian that always sends me a joke about that person, and it's kind of funny. But sometimes those are the things that bond you a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it does depend too, because like I have one of my good friends. We worked together for a year and a half, and the whole time we worked together, we were in a very toxic work environment. The boss was just heavy-handed,
Right.
overbearing, all the things. For me, it was really stressful because it was at a time in my life where I was still in my marriage. So I was like, I can't handle dysfunctional relationships in every
Right,
aspect of my
right.
life at the same time. But that really did bring us together as friends, because we were like, okay, am I misreading the situation? Or, because you do need
Right.
sometimes, there's that balance of talking to people where it's, okay, where's the line between gossip and actually, gauging where you're
Right.
at, so that you can get a good feel.
Right. And well, then that sometimes, if that's the thing that bonds you, I bet, you might have a little more conversations about it than talking about something toxic like that, like you normally would. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And now, we get together and we have other things in common, and, we don't work together anymore. So it's, 2 or 3 times a year we have lunch, or we might see each other out, we might go out and grab a drink or something. But yeah, it's, a lot of those relationships that you have in a work environment don't end up, if that's all you had in common and you don't find something more, then you move on. And it's like, well, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's like, that was great. I don't hate the person. We don't work together anymore. It
Right.
doesn't work for
Right.
us.
And it's funny because that happens a lot, when you're out of that common situation,
Yeah.
the friendship eventually dwindles away. But it's funny, then you have this pocket of people that you still talk to from time to time from different aspects of your life.
Yeah. And it is nice when you catch up and you're like, oh my gosh, those were the good old days, weren't they? Getting yelled at by the boss. And
Or the bad old days.
yeah, but it is true. And it's cool
Well,
to see
and
how far people take their lives in other directions.
Well, and it's hard too, and I'm just gonna say this. I used to sell Mary Kay, and I
Mhm.
met some beautiful women during that time. But I have since come to have a different feeling about that whole situation,
Mhm.
And like I sometimes would really like to talk about it openly, but I don't want to hurt people that I think have not come to the conclusion that I came to.
Okay.
They're still maybe doing it or dabbling in it.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's like, oh God, just let me unleash. I want to talk about this, but I don't want to hurt people,
Yeah, I have some things, and there's some things that I have, especially with my divorce and stuff, where I'm always like, okay, where's the balance of being truthful and honest about a situation without drawing out something and making it worse or hurtful, and
Hurting somebody else's feelings or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and like, and I have kids in relationship with them to consider, and so it's like there's a line between, okay, I need to be honest about where I've been and where I've come from, and when to be able to use that to help other people not stay in the same situation. So
Right.
I always feel like I'm balancing that line of, okay, what can I share and be realistic, so that where I'm coming from, and so that there's validity to what I'm saying, but still maintaining that respect. And yeah, you could apply that same, like you're saying, like, you like, I mean, I've had places where I've worked with people and I'm glad I don't work there anymore, but I don't want to be hurtful to the people that are still there, because sometimes the reasons that it doesn't work for me have nothing to do with the reasons why it might be a great place for other people to stay there. And so
Yeah. All right.
it's very fun.
I've been coaching with Miles Weber.
Yes,
and
that's
I've
been
got
fun.
one session left, and then my time is up.
Oh,
Which I can always do it again. But I will say, if there are any comedians still watching and you just want that little extra to kind of push you like onto the next level, I would highly recommend getting in touch with Miles Weber. Look him up, see what he's doing, talk to him about it. Because I've gotten a lot of good, and I feel like a little bit of sadness that, you know, that I'm done, but I'm ready to be done for a while. And I've got like notebooks now full of stuff that he and I have worked on that I've now got to really plod through. And that's the hard part, you know.
I will tell you, like doing coaching myself, I do think there's a value to kind of doing it sometimes intermittently, where you're like, this is the project I want to get through. This is the level up that I want to level up to this place. So I'm going to take this 3-6 months and get to there, and then take all of that stuff and take some time to implement those tools and things like that. And then come back and be like, okay, you know what? We're ready to level up again. Let's do it again.
All right. Well, I think that we might be ready to go. What do you think?
I think that could be true. I think that you are going to have an amazing show tonight. Knock 'em dead. And everybody, if you're anywhere close to being able to get up to Capitol Hill tonight for the what was the location that you're at again?
Northwest Film Forum.
Northwest Film Forum for the Upper Left Comedy Festival. Check out Cheri. And is it so today's Thursday? Is it Thursday, Friday, Saturday you're performing?
Mm-hmm. I'm not performing Friday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Thursday, Saturday. So she's got two
shows on Saturday.
To see her. You got today, 2 shows on Saturday. So get out there, see Cheri, give her some love, and don't worry, she's gonna look just a little bit more put together tonight than she does right now. So
yeah, I'm gonna do my hair and everything. So
you know, I always think you look beautiful.
All right. Well, goodbye to you and everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Have an awesome day. And don't forget.
This is where we would insert our little tagline that we haven't written yet. And by the way, we also need to get together to go over. We have someone writing us a theme song, and we need to.
I'm loving what I'm hearing so far. We just.
So you and I need to get together. We haven't talked since the last one was sent, and so Kirk, we are just. We've been a little busy to really like discuss line for line exactly what
we've done. A lot of like commentary on the run, but we want to give it the good.
Give it a little more specific. We're getting close to being where I want it to be, but we'll see. We haven't discussed it as thoroughly as I would like. So soon there will be a theme song for this show. So that's cool. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.